Well, you mentioned focus on the achievement gap, and how is the school district doing as far as progress toward closing that achievement gap?
Well, at the elementary level, they've made a little bit of progress. They have a goal. I should throw this, the achievement gap, by the way, if you don't know what that is, there's a gap between the performance of white students and the performance of minority students, and poverty is part of that too. And there is a gap, and it's a lot of places around the state. In ours, it's pretty large in District 281. And they've made this their number one goal going forward to eliminate that gap by the 2016 year. They have about 6 years, including this year, to do that, and not by lowering standards and upping standards, by doing this, and they meet.
So raising the standards and closing the achievement gap at the same time.
Correct. It's an ambitious goal, but the elementary, a gap closed. What they do is they have the fall snapshot, the winter snapshot. They just did the MCA testing, so we'll have some more information throughout the summer. But the elementary closed a point or two in reading and math. The middle school one expanded.
Significantly, by 3 to 4 points, depending on reading. Reading was 3 points.
And not only that, but not only did it expand, the white students did a little worse, and the minority students did a little. So it didn't expand that they're both going up.
Right.
It expanded that they're both going down, and that was a real big hubbub at the April 4th meeting. If you want to look at it on their website at ardale.org. So they're going for, and the interesting thing was the reaction, and when the achievement gap closed by 1 or 2 points in elementary school, the district put it all over their website. They were all orgasmic about it. And when the 3 or 4 gaps separated, it was, well, we're relatively steady.
Steady.
Isn't that what we're steady?
Within the margin of error, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the only person was superintendent was dissatisfied.
He was pretty teed.
Yeah, he was the only one, which I think he should have been. The rest of the staff, I think, should have been, in my opinion. And again, and the high school one, to follow up, did I think similar to the elementary, where the gap did shrink a little bit. But I think I'm not sure if the white students and the students of color. I think it stays steady, and the students of color
went up a point.
Went up, a couple points again. And what they're looking at is both reading and math. Where they look at that, so there's really 2 focuses that they have with reading and math. Which now with going back to STEM, STEM is going to be part of the standards in Minnesota. And again, those are going to be brought in over the next 3-4 years probably. But that'll be another measurement that we'll have. So we'll have another statistic out there for
That's good
science.
for numbers guys.
That
like
is.
you. Isn't that wonderful?
Keeps the numbers guy in business. Yes, indeed. So yeah, I thought it was quite interesting when the reaction, like you're saying, Andrew, was
ho-hum.
Was ho-hum in negative, but over the top. And again, it should be celebrated that they're getting better.
Yes.
And I would agree. I saw those when they first came out, and that's very the gap that they're trying to get by bringing both up and bringing the children of color up faster is quite good from a standpoint of aggressiveness. I think it's an aggressive goal. And I hope that they can. But again, hopefully the state will come through with some ways of doing that and standardization. Because again, each school that we have, because we have enough geographic, is slightly different. Meadow Lake and Northport are completely different than a Zachary Lane or even a Noble.
We still are, the 9th largest school district in the
8th or 9th,
state?
yeah. I haven't looked this year again, and it fluctuates a little bit.
Because we actually ticked up a little bit in enrollment.
Oh, yeah, we stopped.
That hasn't happened in about 10 years.
This is the first year that we have not had declining enrollment so far, both the fall and I think it's the mid year ones that have come out. And
ADM that they have to figure out.
They're at a little bit higher than they were projecting, and they're a little bit higher than last year. So the decline, I'll call that a plateau, it appears we may have hit, which is good, because that hopefully, and again, from a finance standpoint, the state does not provide as much funding when you're decreasing, especially when you're decreasing.
Yeah, there's no
quickly.
buffer.
That buffer, so that causes. So again, and I think they may have hit the plateau a little bit earlier than they had anticipated. I think they anticipated it hitting it maybe another year out, and so maybe that's a good sign also.
So the children aren't vanishing anymore.
No.
We're not losing them like socks. And
But it sounds as though from the early results that the school district is not quite on track to meet that 2016
Not in the middle school.
target. Particularly not in the middle school.
Yeah, definitely the middle school, and I think that's an area that appears to be a concern, and nobody really had an answer yet. And again, the numbers came out fairly quickly on that one. That was the last one to come out, so I'm not sure. Hopefully there is a plan to look and see why that is. And again, this was total district. They didn't divide up. I don't know what the numbers are between the two middle schools.
Yeah,
the other ones I think they did provide later on some information by school. Again, I think on the high school they did. So I'm looking to see what would be on the between Robbinsdale Middle School and Plymouth Middle Schools.
PMS, that's what we call it, PMS.